At approximately 3:45 a.m., 5 gunshots rang out from a parking lot in downtown Indianapolis. Police quickly identified a suspect after witnesses pointed to one man, Leon Benson.
At just 22 years old, he was convicted for the 1998 murder of Kasey Schoen in downtown Indianapolis.
After serving 25 years for this crime, one thing never changed.
Hey, truth never died.
In 2008, a comrade of mine, Dayon Day Miller, introduced me to a poem called Invictus. The poem was composed by an Englishman named William Ernest Henley. Invictus in Latin means invincible. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I think whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the far clutch of circumstance, I have not missed nor cried aloud. Under the burgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms the horror of the shade, and yet the minutes of the years find and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged the punishments the scroll. I'm the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
Leon refused to bow his head, proudly proclaiming his innocence to anyone that would listen. In 2002, Benson found himself before the Supreme Court of Indiana. The justices heard his appeal, which focused on the unsubstantiated witness statements allowed at trial. The court ruled that since Benson's attorney did not object to them at trial, he was not able to raise the issue on appeal. Yet the menace of the years finds, and shall find me, unafraid. Benson was not afraid to fail, and he pushed forward at all costs. In 2017, the Court of Appeals heard his claim for ineffective assistance of counsel. This appeal focused on the new understanding of the fallibility of cross-racial facial identification. Despite these glaring issues, the Court of Appeals ruled that Leon did not present new evidence, thus denying his claim. After all of these failures, with no hope, Benson's soul remained unconquered, and yet one thing remained true.
Never dies. The truth never dies. The truth never dies. The truth never dies. The truth never dies.
448. Truth never dies, huh? Hey, well, let me ask you something, brother. Why everybody in prison say they innocent? Let me guess. You innocent too, huh?
Leon Benson was just exonerated for the crime and walked out of a state prison in Pendleton Thursday.
Leon Benson, now 47 years old. He spent more than half his life behind bars, wrongfully convicted of murder. On Thursday, Leon Benson was set free.
The first thing he said to us was, "The truth never dies, it's only rediscovered." He was so exhilarated. Honestly, until I saw him and I could actually give him a hug, I didn't believe it. And then in that moment, it finally sunk in, and it was just an incredible feeling of relief and triumph.
Laura Bazelon at the University of San Francisco Racial Justice Clinic took up Benson's case, discovering that police failed to disclose evidence that pointed to another man as the killer. On August 8, 1998, Kasey Schoen was shot 5 times as he sat in his truck at 14th and Pennsylvania. The key witness was a white woman delivering newspapers to a vending machine 150 feet up the street.
More than 50% of people who have been wrongfully convicted are Black. Most of them are Black men. Quite often it happens in these misidentification cases where there's a cross-racial identification and the witness is firmly convinced that he or she is absolutely right, and they're mistaken.
The case is the first exoneration since the Marion County prosecutor started the Conviction Integrity Unit in 2021. The prosecutor's office released a statement. The challenges presented in this case underline the importance of why the Conviction Integrity Unit was established and why we continue to identify and remedy wrongful convictions and ensure that justice and fairness are upheld. There is no physical or forensic evidence that ever tied Benson to this killing.
An Indianapolis man wrongfully imprisoned for a murder back in the 90s, celebrating 1 year since he was exonerated after he spent nearly 25 years at the state prison in Plainfield.
It was in the early morning of August 8th, 1998, that Kasey Schoen was found shot to death. Benson was later tried for the murder of Schoen in May of 1999, which ended in a mistrial. 2 months later, he'd be tried again. This time, he was found guilty of murder and sentenced to 60 years.
That's the closest thing to death on this side of life. When you sit there and nobody believe you, you yell and nobody listen.
Benson says he spent 10 of those years locked up in solitary confinement. 22 years after Benson was put in prison, the Conviction Integrity Unit began investigating his case.
I missed out on the time to be there with my children when they grew up. They were 2 and 1. It's a deep hurt.
In March of 2023, a Marion County judge determined Benson had been wrongfully convicted after it was determined the detective in the case withheld key evidence that pointed to another man. Now Benson sits in front of me a free man, using his misfortune to help others.
See, the common unity equals community. I don't care what side of the aisle, your politic, whatever. Everybody want freedom. Don't everybody want love? Everybody wants justice. So if you come to me and you about those values, I'm rocking with you. You know what I mean?